This is an Icon Ministry production with the support of our ministry partners and donors.
I love Jesus. I'm sure you love Jesus too. We love Jesus. How wonderful, how beautiful. But to love Jesus sometimes means to become uncomfortable. It means to hold on to things of Jesus that we don't particularly feel comfortable with. I don't know about you, but I don't feel comfortable about everything that Jesus teaches. There are certain things that Jesus teaches that certainly make me uneasy. Things that the church teaches that I don't fully understand. Even take the Eucharist. I fully believe in the Eucharist. I know that the Eucharist is the body, blood, soul, divinity of Christ. But there are moments I question. There are moments I doubt. Because how could God be so good? How could God be so accessible? It's sometimes so difficult to grasp, to understand. The reality is that we all grapple. We all find it difficult sometimes to believe everything, to hold on to everything. But here's the thing. The Lord asks us to trust in Him, even though sometimes we don't believe and understand why the church holds on to certain things, that we get offended and triggered that Jesus would say things. How could a God of love allow this teaching? How could a God of love allow this suffering? How could a God of love require me to do this? But the reality is, God knows more than you do. God is more gracious than you could ever imagine. And God wants you to get to heaven more than you could ever want to get to heaven. But the great news is that God has given us a way to get to heaven through the Eucharist, through the teachings of the church, through a holy life. And sometimes it's a struggle. It's difficult. We go through moments of doubt. But as Catholics, we are asked to hold on to Him even though we don't understand. Even though we doubt. I doubt. You doubt. And a person who says that they never doubt is not someone who's exploring their faith. Because if you really explore your faith, you go deep into what the Lord is asking of you, you will go through moments of doubt, because doubt is part of faith. How could it be that a person believes everything and has no questions? If you have no questions, then you're not exploring deep enough. But the thing is, what are you doing with those questions? Are you going to hold on to them and dig deeper into the doubt? Or are you going to take those questions and explore? And even tell God, God, I don't understand this. Go to your parish priest, try to understand why the church teaches certain things. And sometimes we come to a point where we just cannot understand. And those are moments where the church does require us to surrender, to trust. Because the church, even the church in her wisdom, 2,000 years of wisdom, has more wisdom than you do, has more wisdom than TikTok, has more wisdom than the world has to offer, than even our politicians and even our laws. God has more wisdom. Who are you going to hold on to? This world that tells you to believe subjective things? Or are you going to hold on to the objective truth that is the way, the truth, the life, the one that's going to bring you to heaven? I want to be like St. Peter. St. Peter, who I know had doubts, I know had questions, but at the end of the day, he said, God, you are the Holy One of God. Who am I to question? Who am I to give in to my doubts? I'm going to trust in you, even though I struggle, even though I don't understand, even though sometimes I just cannot understand you, Jesus. Jesus, I believe, help my unbelief.
This production is only made possible because of the generous support of Icon Ministry partners and donors. Please go to iconministry.com/support to make a donation.